Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the RealNex webinar series. Today we are talking about charting your course with RealNex Navigator. I'm Jeff Finn, CEO at RealNex, and joined by Matthew Smith, our VP of Sales and Head of Western Region for RealNex. Today we're going to sort of take a very fast, big picture overview of what you can do from using RealNex to drive your business as an end-to-end solution. And it's really about becoming a market authority, becoming a dominant force in your market, having consistent delivery tools, prospecting more efficiently, running deals more efficiently, closing transactions faster from beginning to end. So we'll sort of take the full scope of Navigator from CRM to analysis to presentation, marketing, and transaction closing. Matt, I'll let you take it away, and I will chime in along the way, but delighted to have everyone with us once again. We will be recording, we will be sharing, and we are open for questions along the way. But this is the kickoff of a series of webinars that we've been hosting, and sort of the capstone of the whole solution. And over the weeks to come, we'll break down the RealNex Navigator and Navigator Pro into parts and take a deeper dive into each one of the sections. If there are particular topics you'd like us to address in future webinars, please let us know. And if you have questions that we can dive into today, we'll be glad to. Thank you. And Matt, it's all yours.
Awesome. Jeff, thanks as always for that introduction. And I'm so proud to be on here with everybody today. I changed up the slide deck based upon some feedback, and I hope you all enjoy it. So we're going to spend a little bit more time at PowerPoint so I can start setting the foundation for everybody to really understand how you become a power broker. And utilizing the RealNext platform for that, there's going to be a couple portions. So one is we want to talk about creating the foundation for success, and we're going to talk about utilizing the RealNex CRM portion. We're going to talk about becoming the market authority and using some of our portions just for creating that foundation. Think of it like the Egyptian pyramids. They all had a strong foundation. They built upon it, and they did a fantastic job doing it, and they're still standing to this day. And that's what we want. We want you to be able to have that foundation. We're going to walk you through matching buyers, sellers, and tenants in space, really just simplifying things. And we'll walk through how to manage that. We'll walk through how to keep transactional history and timelines and your phone calls and your activities and your emails all in there. We're going to talk about how do we maximize your workflow. So if our workflow takes us 45 minutes, let's bring that down to 30 minutes. If it takes us 3 days, let's bring it down to 3 hours. And we're going to walk you through that using portions of our program, whether they're semi-automated or automated. We're going to walk you through maximizing your workflow, because that's really what we want to do, is take what you're currently doing and maximize that. I'm also going to talk to you about analyzing the deal. I walked through with a good buddy of mine this week and last week about some analysis, and I'll show you how we're going to analyze the deal, whether that's on the owner rep, the tenant rep, or on the sales side, analyzing that deal so you can put that property in its best light. We're going to run through a little bit of presentations that win. Right, so presentations and marketing. I was with a client this morning, and I showed him some of the email marketing in our system. He was absolutely blown away as he's using Chipmonkey instead, and I showed him how to use it in our program, and he said, this is incredible. It's adding in the first name and their lease expiration right from there. And we'll walk you through those portions. And then generating new business from past business. A lot of people are struggling right now in the market, and they're saying, how do we generate new business? Well, look at your old business, and we're going to talk a little bit about that. So let's talk about some of the hurdles. One is commercial real estate is a 24-hour global industry. We're going to show you how to manage that 24 hours a day, 7 days a week without working 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Clients expect more from brokers now than they ever have. There's a lot of solutions out there that can give them a lot of the data that you may provide to them, but there's so much more that brokers can do, and there's so much more that our clients expect from us. So we'll show you how to use our tools to manage that. We'll also talk about data entry and how it takes up 30+% of a broker's days. And we're going to show you how having one solution that streamlines that process and taking away the duplication of entry is going to give you 30% more time back. or maybe more than that. Brokers who report keeping up with technology get up to a 75% time savings. Now, we got that number from our Tourbook app, but that can go across the whole thing. But only, what's interesting is 1% spends their revenue on technology. So if you end up investing in your career, working with us to build that foundation, you're not only going to save time, but you're also going to take out your competitors out there that aren't using solutions like this. And your clients are going to have a better experience, and that sounds like a win to me. So RealNex Navigator Pro is our all-encompassing solution. We're going to go through portions of our program today, and we're going to talk about things like how to match buyers and sellers, how to manage your deal and prospecting and project completion. We'll talk about underwriting and proposals, financial analysis, and deal room. And I'm going to show you how those tools are integrated to streamline that process, to eliminate a lot of the redundancies, which is your data entry. We'll talk about the transaction manager and Tourbook and comparative matrix. We're going to talk about our list search and email marketing. And then we're going to show you a new integration to RI Marketplace that you can take your property to auction without putting your own money in, because it's a buyer fee program. You hear that right? Buyer fee program. It's huge. If you want to virtualize a property, let us do it. I'm working with a good friend on virtualizing hopefully one of his properties for a 355 unit multifamily development. And he's using RealNext to win those deals. So it's fantastic. If you want a copy of the slide deck, let me know. So Navigator Pro, it's all in one encompassing, including land and building data, transaction history, loan information, as well as tenants. Okay, so it's a great way to get started right away and to streamline that foundation. We also have other things like technical support here in-house. We have training like these webinars as well as personalized training. We also import services, marketing services, email campaigns. We have an email campaign list that you can blast it out to our 150,000 plus community. We do websites, agent profiles, and lead capture through MP Direct and our newest MP Premier, and then virtual reality. So that's kind of what we're going to be talking about today. And I'm not a huge fan of PowerPoint, so we're going to end this show here. And let me just click end show. So the foundation can start with the RealNex Navigator program and typically in the CRM. Most of the people that want to get into a CRM say, Matt, how do I even get started? I'm currently in a program right now. What do I do? One, to get started is we created a database migration tool. So if you're in a current solution and you want to come across to ours, the database migration tool is fantastic. Well, I'm already using your program, but I'd like to be able to prospect faster, easier, more efficiently. What data services do you provide? Well, you can use our data import tool to import from third-party sources like CoStar, Reonomy, or Prospect Now. You can also
Matt, just by the way, Matt, you're still on the value added screen. I'm not sure if you're using multi-screens, but you need to get onto the other one didn't change.
That's weird. Okay, sorry about that, everybody. Okay, so I'm trying to share my screen here. So let's do this. Is this better now?
It's just that the go to webinar screen. There you go. Now
okay, can everybody see that? I'll move my screens around. Sorry, everybody. I have like 3 screens here. So in here, like I was talking about, we have our data migration tool, so we can easily pop you into our system, whether you're using a solution out there or you're not. We also have our data importation tool, so third-party sources that are out there to bring that data in. And then if you want to, you can add data from our solution that we're bringing it in from title that we're going to bring in, whether it's an office building in a certain MSA or asset class. We can choose different options like number of units or square footage or acreage. We'll also bring in the data for you for transactional history up to 2 transactions. So getting started inside of RealNext, and let me move this over here. I have some notes that I want to take during this call. And as you're going through this, we're going to be talking about that third-party imports and really just making it your own, right? This is something that you can take anywhere you go. I was talking to a gentleman this morning. He has a 1-year-old child, and I'm sure they're going to go into the commercial real estate industry, how it is. So this is something that you own. This is yours. You own it. This is going to be your information, your data. So we want to talk about going through and building that foundation for success, and utilizing the RealNex CRM is where we're going to be able to start building that foundation. It's going to be the way that we're going to be able to manage our daily aspects. So each activity that we have. So when I log into my system every morning, it goes into my dashboard. My dashboard is going to show everything that I need to do each day. So from my phone calls to my tasks, to updating marketing activity reports, or calling a client back. This is an easy way for me to keep track of everything that I need to do each day. It also seamlessly integrates into your native mail system, whether that's Gmail or Outlook. So it allows me to come back in off a holiday weekend and see all my emails that were received. I can see not only the subject, the body of the email, and the attachment of the email, and there's nothing I have to do. It's simply seamless. So it's set it and forget it. It's synchronizing my contacts, it's synchronizing my events, and it's also synchronizing my emails sent and received. I don't have to BCC, I don't have to be in the program, and I don't have to send it through RealNex. It's all right there. We have an easy calendar for calendar activities and sharing, so you'll be able to find all that information. And then you'll also be able to see all your contacts in one place. You'll be able to follow up with each one of your contacts to find out when you last spoke to them and the next steps you have going on inside of our solutions. And we try to make it as easy as possible. So whether I'm navigating through the contacts or projects or company section inside the CRM, it's all going to look very similar, because if you can learn one, you can learn it all. You can see our information in a tile view. You can see it in a list view. These list views are customizable. So if you wear multiple hats as a generalistic geographic focused broker, no problem. You can go from tenant prospecting to investment sales to hospitality to multifamily, and it changes these fields you see in here. If you want to see just the name and phone number, no problem. You can customize those views, and you can even combine those views with filters, so you can add down the criteria. So if you're trying to win that business and match those buyers and sellers, you can simply do that. You can also see the information in a map view. The map view allows you to prospect and follow up based upon radiuses or polygon, or even a zip code search. So if you want to go zip code by zip code or block by block, you can easily do that in this program. Each one of our contact records comes predefined with fields. Fields in here that are going to be for office, like Class A or cold storage, net lease or bonded deals. We have ways that you can use our drop-down menus. You can add your own information, or you can go ahead and you could create your whole list of values that you can come off for a pick list. And what this does is it allows you to keep track of investor criteria for minimum maximum pricing. Maybe it's going to be a sub-market or market. Maybe it's a number of years they're looking for square footage. Keep track of owner user information, or lease commencement, lease expiration, maybe escalations, or what kind of requirements they have for new space. You'll see a last activity for the last activity you've had with a client, and the next activity for the next activity that's going without clicking on the events or history tab. You can easily group information. So if you want to have a leads or a mail merge or a sync, or people who clicked on an email, easily create those groups so you can follow up with them at any point in time. You'll see all the history and activity that are on with the client. So all your emails, all your phone calls, and any activity you have, including the subjects that are on there. And you can even customize what you see. So if we wanted to add more information, we could add more information and customize that view and see how each one of those look. You can drag and drop attachments in there. So if you want to track things like LOIs or lease documents, you can even click the dial when you're making phone calls to follow up with somebody, or maybe it's a 1031 request. Tie it to one of your listings so you can create a marketing activity report, and you can voice dictate your conversations, which is fantastic. Schedule a follow-up for a future date for a next step. And now we're starting to build a foundation of our calling profiles for clients. Now, as you go and you work with clients, you're working with companies as well. You have an easy way to manage all the companies that are in there, like Alien Tech, or any other companies that I have built inside this. You'll be able to keep track of not only a building, but you'll keep track of their multiple locations, like Logistics Express in Charleston, their main office in Escondido, San Diego, and also Georgia. Now I can keep track of not only the company, the contacts at those companies, but I also have the ability to see who the primary contacts are at each location. I can see the properties they own across their whole portfolio and what locations they're at. I also have the ability to keep track of all the spaces they currently lease. So as I'm trying to find them new space, I see what the current space is. I notice they have a few leases coming due. Well, now I can talk to them about their lease expires that are coming due to help renegotiate their leases. And I can always stay on top of their portfolio. I can also click on any one of these properties at any point in time to send the information over for a lease comparative analysis. I can send the property information over to our financial analysis so I can show my client what the health of their building is and how that looks. You have an easy way to match buyers and sellers, the tenants in space. You'll have a full property repository. So whether you're utilizing information from a third-party source, you're gathering the information on your own, or you're taking the information from RX Pro, you're having a footprint. Now to fill in some of that information, you can easily use our mobile app to add buildings that might not be in there. You can walk buildings. So if you're walking in an industrial park, or maybe you're going to an office and you want to stack that whole building, you can easily do that right inside the program. You can add as many pictures as you want. You can add as much details to the property as you need. We try to color code some of the information here. And if your program's not color coded, let us know and we'll see what we can do to change some of those things around. We have some really cool things coming to the RealNex Navigator program here soon. Some of the clients want to look at the building before they make the phone call. Well, let's do this inside of our program instead of running over to title or third-party source to see that. So now we can see here the logistics company. Any contacts that own the building, you would see the contact and the company. As you're calling on those property owners, it creates a history of the contact, the company, as well as the property. You can keep track of units for multifamily. So all the multifamily brokers out there that want to keep track of the units and unit mixes, you can do so. And for a multi-tenanted industrial building like this, you can keep track of the complete rent roll for all the tenants that are in there. And if you're out in the field walking the building, you can add it all directly from the RealNex mobile app. And that mobile app works for the Android and the iPhone. If you're doing land and you want to show land assemblage, we can create lots and parcels and have that information in here. And then you can keep track of on-market listings and off-market listings all in one program. Now you'll see things like analyze, you'll see things like list and add to comps. You can create a comp out of any one of the properties or spaces that are for lease or for sale. You can list your property with a few clicks of a button without duplicating the information. Remember how I talked about going through and maximizing your workflow? Well, each time you have to re-enter that information, that's more and more data entry you have. So now you can click for sale or for lease. It takes the information, including the photos, any spaces you may have for lease, and the details on the property, and it starts to create that for you. If you wanted to create a financial analysis, you can do so as well. You can map out spaces for clients that are looking for new space, or if you're doing tenant rep, or maybe you're following up with tenants that are in their market. You can search by zip code. You can narrow down criteria by any one of the fields inside of a filter, or you can go ahead and create predefined filters like I have here. So if I want to find information, I can just simply hit the play button and it will pull up all the tenants that are expiring in a certain period of time. We have built-in email marketing for easy ways to start creating business for new business and past business. You have all your comparables in here as well as sales comps, and your email marketing statistics are built right in one program. We have an easy keyword search, unlimited grouping, and then you can sort by different types, whether it's available, industrial, office, retail, or vacant, all in one side of systems. You have your full projects to manage all your deal flow, whether that's for sale or for lease, tenant rep or landlord rep, or maybe you just want to simply keep track of some of your pursuits. You can easily do so. You'll be able to keep track of any commissions or commission splits, and we have a slew of reports in here for you, whether that is commission reports, commission split reports, lead status reports, or marketing activity reports. You'll be able to manage all those. So as we're creating that foundation, now we have something that's ours, we own. We have our foundation. we're going out matching buyers and sellers and tenants in space. Now we want to maximize that workflow. One way we can maximize our workflow is by incorporating the integration into our solution. So imagine going out and we're going to prospect for a certain asset class. Maybe we're going to filter down some criteria. Maybe it's going to be building class, maybe it's going to be zip code, maybe it's going to be all the above. We can easily put our solution into a nice split screen. We can choose the information. Now, with the Navigator Pro program, you're going to see things like loan amount, years, or interest rate for properties available. Now, not every property is going to have the loan information, but what we're trying to do is give you more predictive analysis. So what is the likelihood of someone selling based upon data points? And we're trying to create those for you inside of these filters and views so you can easily, or easier, I shouldn't say easy, but easier, go through that. Now, one of the things that we find out we do a lot is we're creating valuations, and we're constantly doing it. And we're finding out that there's a gap between 2001 and 2023. Buyers are going and saying, hey, it's 2023, and sellers are saying, no, it's 2021, and we have to figure out how to bridge that gap. So that we're analyzing the deal comes into play, is really bridging that gap. Now, I utilize this program for my own properties that I'm looking to purchase, and it works out great because not only does it build a great narrative for someone that is looking to buy, but it also builds a great narrative to someone looking to sell. And why should they sell at that price that you came up with? It brings all the information in from the building. It'll bring any of the building fields and details, any assumptions like resale information for land value, fair market value or discount rate, general vacancy, any income or expenses will be brought over here as well. So if you wanted to have your complete rent roll in here, any escalations, reimbursements, and renewals will be. Any expenses you can add. You can even do a quick expense analysis. So if you don't want to do a full detailed expense analysis, you can do a quick analysis. Add in any debt services so you can show somebody, look, I understand you said this was a great cash flow property, but I figured out as 1.8 cap rate. Well, how did I come to that? I put the income and expenses in, and then I shot right over to one of our many 220, I think, templates, broker opinion of value, and I can load that. I can load any one of our templates for you, whether that's industrial lease versus buy, maybe it's investment analysis. And we have all property types: land, retail, office, hospitality, self-storage. Simply go ahead and click, and that information will appear. Now from here, we can choose what our valuation is going to be based upon a cap rate range, 429 to 552. Now, whether you're analyzing a small deal like this, or you're analyzing a giant deal like this deal over here, or even a bigger deal like my other $89 million office building, you can analyze something small, analyze something large, or analyze something in between, and we all make it efficient for you. But showing something like this to a client might ease their mind on why they should sell their property. You can also create simple things like our pro forma. Our pro forma summary is fantastic because not only does it show what the cap rate is, we can also see what the market cap rate is. We can see what our actual income is and what the market rent is, and it will break it down tenant by tenant right inside of our solution. Now you can create your own templates, you can utilize our templates, and you even have the ability to customize your own cover pages with our solution. So whether you wanted to have something prepared like this, or something different, you have a slew of cover pages to select from, whether that's portrait or landscape. You can add additional brokers, 3 agents and 2 logos. You can change the colors. You can make it international for international clients. And we have a complete photo library that all your photos come from the CRM program right inside of this. You can show available spaces to show what the health is in a building. As I was talking to another client this morning, we were talking office, and he's an office sales and leasing broker. And we were talking about different ways to show not only that he wants to represent them for their leasing needs, but maybe it's a good time to look at selling based upon the turnovers of the leases coming in the next 6 to 12 months. You also have a full comparative lease analysis. So any of the information that's inside of the RealNex CRM program that we mentioned before with those spaces can easily be brought into our lease analysis. So without duplicating information, you have the ability to bring in things like Pines Corporate Center, Center Point Business Park, or Sahara Ranch Corporate Center. It brings in the information like square footage. And then from there, we have the ability to change any of the lease information like base rent. Escalations can be stepped up per month or per escalation percentage. You can change each one of these, or you can do a percentage increase and replace those, and it goes right across through. Now we have 3% across. You can add your own recoveries, your own improvements, and you can change things around like base rent to full rent, and you can analyze each one of these leases. You also can copy the leases if it's similar, so you're not, again, going through that data duplication. And then you can look at each space one by one. Now this is fully mobile, so you can do this on your client's big screen and show them their annual net occupancy cost, the balance sheet impact statement, or you can send this to a PDF. Same thing within the financial analysis, and I'll show you that here in a minute, how we're going to be able to take those broker opinion of values and turn them into a beautiful offering memorandum, flyer, or brochure. Select what you want for your options in here. Simply hit preview and save, and now it's going to allow you to bring up that presentation, send it to PowerPoint. You can use it as an electronic PDF, and now we can look at each one of those office buildings. Maps the information out for you, and then you can see things like the tenant lease summary, cash flow analysis, lease schedule, and annual accounting summary. You can utilize this for owner rep. You can utilize this for tenant rep. Similarly, as I was mentioning, you can use this to create your full packages through a PDF. You can email it to your client, or you can do an e-publication. E-publications are one of my favorite because what it allows you to do is it allows you to send out a digital package, and anybody that clicks on this digital package, it'll notify you back inside the RealNex CRM. It does all your table of contents, and it will pull out information for you. For some reason, my system's loading a little slow, so it's not showing all the information here as it should. My computer, I need to turn off my other Ring Central here. But it would show your comps on a map. It'll graph your comps out for cap rate per square footage, and you'll see all the maps. Whether they're rent comps, on-market comps, or off-market comps, they can all be put in there. Things like agent profiles and so forth are in there. Now, as you're going through and you want to create your broker opinion of values, you want to create your lease analysis, you might want to do some other things to get in front of clients, like our collaborative tour book app, which has been really popular lately. It's a way that you can get this information not only out to your clients for properties that they're looking to buy, but properties they're looking to lease on the tenant side. We have a tenant tour book that allows you to create digital tours. It's made primarily for leasing, but we're watching sales agents pick it and utilize. You can add the properties directly inside of here by simply hitting edit and creating that tour, selecting buildings, or adding the building in if it's not inside the RealNex program. You can add as many people as you want to the tour, and you can select your primary colors for your company. So if someone logs in, they'll see those primary companies and colors. You also have the ability to have your logo where it says your company here, so everything's branded, and mine's gray. Yours might be blue or green depending on your company. All these tours are completely interactive, so you can migrate each one of these down based upon maybe it's the ratings on each one of the spaces, or maybe you're not able to tour that property that day. You can go ahead and move that one down. You can also archive. So if you find out the score is low in one of the buildings that your client doesn't like, you can archive it, and it will automatically update their tour book. Now their tour book is going to be in an app, whether that's an Android or an iPhone. They have the ability to download a mobile app. You can also create a tour book just by hitting generate, and it creates a beautiful tour book just like this with your company here, your colors, and then it will show the properties you're touring. So if someone wants to be able to not only have something that's digital, but maybe they want to have a hard copy, they can have that hard copy as well. As you archive these, just hit generate and then download, and you can have a new one. You don't have to go back through and update all the information throughout the program. You can use the comparative analysis built in here as well. So if you want to compare the proposals, after you went through the lease analysis inside of Market Edge, and you started to shortlist your buildings, maybe you want to compare them down even a little bit further as you get to your final shortlist. As you go into each one of these properties, you can take pictures in the field like I have here. You can add any deal documentation on there. Any tour notes can be added in here by anybody that's touring the property. You have the ability to customize your ratings. This is one of the most important things as you find out what's important, whether it's location, parking, overall feel, or rent. Each person on the tour is going to be able to rate those spaces. They have the ability to rate the spaces, and then you're going to get a My Score and a group score. You also can customize things like year bill, OPEX, and it says custom here, so you can customize the information. As you can see down here, I'm able to compare the owner and the tenant and the owner response. And then if I want to, I can compare those proposals and even graph those proposals out so I can show the client how much money I was able to save them by them having me represent them. As you're utilizing this tool, if you're managing buildings on the landlord side, any properties that are put in this tour book will automatically get attached to any buildings that you currently manage. So if you've claimed Pines Corporate Center and someone went and did a tour using the tour book, it would automatically put a deal right in here. There's nothing you need to do, it's all put in here. So Cambridge Terrace, Pines Corporate Center, 245-179-17B, all these properties I manage. Now each one of these tours I can put in myself by creating add new tour, or if I'm doing it on the tenant side, it would automatically populate in here. And if someone else is doing it on the tenant side, it would automatically pop in here if I claim my building. We have the ability to not only keep track of the tours for you, you can see how many active deals, your pipeline and closed deals. We can also give your client a portal access. So if you're managing 243 Cambridge Terrace and the owner wants access to see all the activity that's going on, we can create them a portal so they can see all the activity in a read-only view. So they can dive down into each one of these and see what's going on with these. And they can also see any of the proposals that are going on with each one of your deals. Now we talked about maximizing your workflow, analyzing your deal, presentations and marketing that win. And marketing goes so much more than just what I've shown you so far. We want to talk about email marketing. Email marketing, again, remember, as we build that foundation, any one of these properties are available now to put out in your for sale or for lease. You can do the same thing from your Market Edge program. You can push it out for sale or for lease, create a deal room, or you can create an email campaign inside of our listing site or our CRM. Now, I know I'm going a little fast with clicking around, but I want everybody to understand how simplistic it is to send an email out based upon a contact. Maybe it's 4 reasons for evaluation, or maybe it's a simple lease expiration email. Maybe it's an announcement for just leased or just partnered. It has merged fields like first name and last name, tenant information, minimum, maximum square feet, as well as your own information in here. Now, as you send it out, it will fill in the information directly from the RealNext program. You can schedule it immediately, or you can schedule it for a later point in time. It tracks your opens, your clicks, and opt-outs. If you want something that's more asset-based related, you can do that inside of our Market Edge program. You can do that as well inside of our Marketplace. Market Edge would be more one-on-one based, but as you get a deal out and you want to take it to market, you can not only send the marketing packages out that way, but you can also send them in bulk this way. So maybe you want to send out a just sold email. This is a great way to create a just sold email without duplicating the information. It came from the foundation, it went into my marketing solution, and now it's in my listing solution, and we just sold the building. Maybe it's going to be a property for lease, or maybe it's going to be multiple properties. You can create a flyer based upon 3 different properties, 4 different properties, and create an email summary, decide how you want to have those shown, and it will automatically create that email for you based upon the template you choose and fill in all the information. It directly integrates into the RealNext foundation, the CRM portion. As you create groups in the program, As you're keeping track of tenant needs and buyer profiles, you have the ability to send it out to those clients. You also can send it to our community. This has been really popular in the last few weeks, where people have been sending national blasts out through our program and having great responses. I saw a client had like 33,000 opens or something. I don't know, it was something ridiculous. Don't quote me on that, but it was crazy. And I just saw it earlier today as he was asking me, how do I copy the campaign? Because he wanted to send one out. Within 30 seconds, I was able to show him how to copy the campaign and send that campaign out. And he was able to see those statistics right inside of here because we simply said email statistics. We loaded the email up that he wanted to see. And now we can see all those statistics on that campaign. We're able to track who opened it, who clicked it, any emails that bounce or spam, and then we're able to create action items back inside the RealNex CRM to show those groups, and now we can call each one of those. So instead of calling 330 people, we can call 155 people or 15 people first. We can add the bounce to a group, so now we can go back and get all those bounced emails back inside of there. As you add that property in there to create that email campaign, you also are pushing it out to a public site. If you want to have this active and searchable, it's out on the RealNext search site. You can also have it integrated right into your website. With their integrated listings, it'll be shown on your website, whether that's Marketplace Premier, something like this here, or it's going to be Marketplace Direct, something a little bit smaller. This here is more interactive. It's made for some larger companies. Maybe you have 5 or 10 brokers. Maybe you're 50 brokers or 100 brokers. This way, it's a little bit more interactive, and it also gives you SEO. So all this information will be hosted directly on your site. You also can take any one of those properties and add it to one of our syndication partners. So not only does it go to our site, but it can also go to Brevitas, Commercial Edge, LD CRE, Quantum Listing, Space List, and one of my newest favorite ones is RI Marketplace. RI Marketplace not only has the ability to list your property, but they have the ability to take it to auction with buy-side fees. So you're not having fees come out for marketing your property out of your paycheck. To connect any one of these accounts, you just said connect account, hit OK. It'll bring you to their site, you'll create an account, and then you'll see that is linked right inside of our solution. This will give you more exposure for each one of your listings without having to duplicate the entry, going back to maximizing your workflow and then making sure that we're getting rid of some of those hurdles, and that is that data entry point. Each place in our program is moving the data from one solution to another part of our solution in order to make sure that you can maximize that workflow. We also have an on-market listing search engine. So as you're out hanging out and you wanted to see what properties were for sale in the Houston market, because maybe you have a buy-side opportunity, or maybe you want to look for properties for lease because you have a tenant opportunity, or maybe you're managing a building and you want to just keep track of some of the assets that are on there for lease and what they're leasing for. You can easily do that. You can add the properties back into the RealNext program. So if we want to send Winter Oak Shopping Center, because that's a great opportunity for one of our tenants, we can send a CRM and it populates directly in the RealNext program without duplication of entry. So if you're working a tenant assignment, you want to keep track of all the properties you're touring, it's a great way to keep track of all the properties you're touring. If you're working a buy-side assignment, same thing, it's a fantastic way to keep track of those. You can even create a saved search. So if you don't see what you're looking for today, maybe you will later. You can type in the name of the search, match search. Notify me when new listings match the search, and I hit save. And now, every time a new property goes to market, I'm going to get an email digest. You can take that email digest and you can create a watch list. So we can add a watch list in here. And I have a couple of different watch lists in here. We'll just add this one to our RealNext VR Tour watch list. Watch lists are fantastic. The way that we can watch properties that are for sale or for lease. Maybe they're comparable properties that we have listed for sale. Maybe they're comparable spaces we have listed for lease, so we can compare what's on market and what's happened. So if we need to have a price reduction, or change the lease rate, we can easily do that. It also allows us to put together things like our lease comps that are on market. Maybe we have a client that's looking for multifamily properties for a buy side, or just like this one here, I have a client that's looking for land. You can create an easy digest. So we're going to say select all, email selected, and now I can email it to any one of my clients. All I got to do is type in my client's email address. It automatically pull up the records from the CRM. Type in a subject, put a message in, and it sends that information out. Once that information gets sent out, it's removing the listing broker information, and it will bring you to a specific landing page that will show just these two properties here. That's nice anytime you want to get information out when you're looking for properties on there. So we hope that you enjoyed this presentation. I try to change it up and do a little bit differently. I'd love feedback on, hey, if you thought this was great, I'd love your feedback on your thoughts on that, on how we did it. How are we looking on time, Jeff?
You're good. We've got some questions, and I've got some things that I might want to get back to, but we've got some time for more questions. But a few of them that came in already are they love the voice dictation, and you were doing that on the side, and everyone has access to it, but they don't know about it. So if you could let people know, how do they take advantage of the voice dictation?
Yeah, and I was trying to bring up my PowerPoint again, and it's not working because I want to go over some of the things that we discussed here. But voice dictation is real easy. If you're on a Mac, you got to go to Google and say Google voice dictation on a Mac. I'm not sure how to do that. But on a Windows computer, just hit Windows key in the letter H, and it will bring up your native voice dictation. You might have to turn it on, but I use it for everything. I use it for texting, I use it for emails, I use it for social media. Now remember, it's not perfect. So if you're using it for emails and stuff like that to streamline, just make sure you proofread them. But for things like this, if I want to call Chad and I just want to write in here cold call, one is I have this on my pick down. Two is now I can say, hey, Chad, what's going on? Now it is recording the information that I'm talking. It's not going to record the client's information, but it allows you to create a nice little memo. And again, it's all about maximizing your workflow, creating that foundation. Let's go back to those principles. As I said, that's some of the ways we want to streamline.
And if you could go into the property again and show how you add multiple pictures, maybe, and also share how you do that with the mobile app.
Yeah, so the mobile app's fantastic. The mobile app is the easiest to add pictures. I was working with a client that wanted to list the property for sale and walk me through their process. They said, we go out to the property, we take photos, we upload those photos, then marketing creates a brochure and flyer. And I said, that sounds extremely inefficient. So then what I did is I showed him how to stand in front of a building, hit add auto address, and take pictures of the building. I was then able to show them how to take those pictures once they're added and then have those push right into their marketing packages. To add a photo, you can simply just drag and drop. I don't know if I have a photo on my desktop. Now it's not allowing me to show one, but you can drag and drop any photo. You'll see here I can edit. So I can drag and drop photos into the section here, just one by one. So if you have 10 photos on your desktop, you can drag and drop them. You can also add attachments to properties or spaces or anything within inside of our program by hitting attachments and add more, and you can drag and drop them there. Unfortunately, my internet is so slow today that I'm not able to show you the mobile app because it will probably kick me completely off of here. We're getting ready to move offices, and as we're doing that, it seems like our internet is getting worse and worse each day.
Matt, there are a couple of new views that are available, and I don't know if everyone has seen them yet, but a great new one is the way to configure your screen with the note panel that comes up, so you don't have to go to a new section, to a new tab to get your notes to be right on the page. You put the side panel up with all of your 45 different prospects on the left side, and then you start smiling and dialing down the list, take notes right on the screen.
Yeah, it's a fantastic way to be able to pull that information up on there. And maybe you wrote some additional notes like there's this certain end cap or an elbow. You can also minimize any of the fields that you're not utilizing. You can color code them like I have here. You don't have to pay us to do any of that. You can simply just right click and do it yourself. And then it gives you that information. And as you go down the left-hand side, the right-hand side changes. So it becomes really efficient and fast. And that's what we want, is we want more smiles, less dials. So you're closing more deals and winning more deals. You're also able to take these and create as many comps as you want. So when that company calls you and says, hey, how much did that property sell for? Just tell them it's $1. Because now you have all the accurate comps in there, whether that's for sale or for lease.
I think it's part of the real magic is this proprietary information, building your database over time, continually adding profiles of buyers, adding profiles of tenants, so you know exactly what they're looking for and what they need. And one of the great things that we do when we bring in the RX data is we actually dump into the buyer criteria field what they want based on what they've bought. So if we know that a certain buyer has purchased certain types of multifamily in certain areas, that's all now put into that company profile. So you've got very strong details of what the buying criteria is, what the size range they've purchased, what the value range they've purchased, and what the property types they've purchased. And then you can actually see their portfolio, but you can query against it to find out what, if you have a new listing, who might be the best buyer based on who all the owners are in town.
Yeah, and then let's think about generating new business from the past, right? So we talk about new business from the past. Past could be from lease comps or sales comps or past clients, but it can also be past deals. It's amazing how many times someone has sold a building and have never contacted any of the leads they had on the building. Well, we eliminated that. So anytime you add a lead to a building for sale or for lease or any one of your assignments, you can simply hit Real Campaigns, hit yes, and now what it does is it brings up all those leads in a nice format, so you can send an email out to them and say, hey, I'm sorry that building 123 just sold. I want to let you know that I'm currently looking for 3 buildings here, 4 or 5 buildings, or whatever the building would be, and I'll send you out a watch list here in a few minutes, or as soon as I have one available, or let's set up a call to go over your needs. Whatever your next step would be, it streamlines that process for all your leads. So past history is from deals from sales comps, deals from lease comps, deals from your past clients by keeping in touch with them. One thing I forgot, and I apologize, Jeff, is timelines. Timelines is a fantastic way to generate new business from the past, and that is to be able to create a series of events that'll notify you upon when something's due, whether that's a lease renewal option or an anniversary of a lease. Maybe that's going to be analyzing values and creating a project in the CRM or pushing that information to marketplace, reviewing LOIs. Maybe it's something like a smiles and dials timeline for initial outreach or email with left voicemail or not. Maybe it's a tenant rep assignment and you want to keep track of everything you do when you do a tenant assignment. You can even assign each one of these tasks to people on your team. And as they're completed, they turn into an activity report and are all viewed inside your dashboard so you can analyze that information. So again, you're able to maximize that workflow.
Yeah, a couple of other things. Again, when you bring in and use the RealNex Navigator Pro and RX data, we have a lot of predictive analytics and best practices built in. So by understanding what typical hold periods are for certain types of buyers and certain types of property, as well as when loan maturities are, we're able to sort of tie those coordinates together to know who are likely sellers next year based on when properties were purchased and when loans might be coming due. So that predictive analytics is a fantastic way to see, again, based on this type of historical data, what might lead to a future transaction. And as Matt was saying, never miss a lease expiration. And these past leads, it's gold. There's leads on prospects that missed one deal, but they're hot for another. Is amplified even when you work with the RI marketplace and the auction program Matt talked about earlier. But the model with RI is they will run all the due diligence, taking all of the property inspection reports and all of the title, and package it for go to market, put their own money in to run marketing campaigns with SEO and lots of other strategic targeted marketing. And all of the leads from each campaign come to you, there's typically a few hundred leads on each one of the properties, 18 bidders for each property, a date certain sale. But when you hit that's great to get the paycheck on the sale, but there's those few hundred leads that didn't buy that probably aren't in your database, but they're active qualified bidders and buyers to come into the market. So another way to generate more business and more opportunities. Matt, go back to this because this is a fantastic new addition. At the top of your screen, it quietly got dropped in, but the keyword search has been an ability to find information, find buyers or sellers or people with a keyword in one of the tables, whether it's a contact or a property or a company. But with this global search, Matt, you want to talk about it? It goes across all of the different areas of RealNext, aggregates it, consolidates up all of the hits on a particular search.
Yeah, it works off phone numbers, it works off emails. You don't have to format it. It shows in right there. That phone number goes to Antonio. He's part of Logistics Express at Initial 3 Development. It's fantastic. Global search has been one of the biggest game changers. You get a call from a client, and I'm just going to use Antonio in my database here. You get a call from Antonio, you're not sure how many properties he may own. Type that information in, and you can start narrowing down the criteria. Now we can see all the times he's connected with someone, or the buyers, the sellers, or if he's on a listing. It fills that information, and I don't have to go to properties, projects, or anywhere. It's all right in there. Again, type in an email address. Well, now you can see who that's tied to. Now mine's a demo database. Yours probably gonna have a little bit more data, but it's going to be in there. And we'll continue to get more and more functionality like that in the program. And remember, in the upper right-hand corner, you can give us feedback. So let us know what you think we can do to improve. And don't just say improve. Tell us what it is and tell us how it's going to benefit you. We care. That's why we're not built on anyone else's solution. We're our own proprietary system. And we want to make sure that we're helping you be as streamlined as possible. Jeff, I want to share something with everybody. I received a recommendation earlier from a client, and one thing that resonates, and this goes back to creating the foundation for success. It says in here, I've been at 4 different brokers throughout my career, but the one thing that has stayed with me the whole time is my RealNex. And if that doesn't resonate with you, I'm not sure what will. No matter where you go in your career, the program's with you. You own this. This is your data. This is your information. We want to make sure we're continuously updating the program so it's more efficient for you with the click to dial. We have a new integration coming out with some phone systems. I just saw recently that we'll track some incoming calls and other things that we're coming out with. It's just going to be phenomenal. And a lot of these ideas came from each and every one of you on this call. And for the other programs, if you're not using RealNex and you give them feedback, they might not change it. I tell Microsoft all the time with things they can do to Outlook, and they have never once put one of my ideas in there, but we do. Now, we don't put all ideas in there, just remember, so don't be mad at me if we didn't put your idea in there, but we do listen to you, and I think it's important that you have that feedback, and you help us craft the best program that's out there, and that's where Navigator Pro came from. Navigator Pro was,
and there's some. Go ahead, Matt.
I was going to say Navigator Pro wasn't just something that we said, hey, let's just add data and more work. People said, look, we want to be able to look at our market, and we want to see what availabilities are out in our market and what is the penetration, and create marketing brochures quicker. And we want to be able to use, someone. That's where Navigator Pro came from. So just things like that.
And it is an asset of yours. That's what you were sort of talking about, the constant of the person that sent you that note earlier. It's an asset that it becomes your business, the lifeblood. It just, you're done right, managed right, input with information. It's going to tell you on Monday everything you need to do to win business, and then what you need to do on Tuesday and on Wednesday. So deals will spit out at you regularly. So you've got this asset and machine that you're building by putting in good information. You're going to get opportunities that start to flow out. You can't recall all of this, but the system can. The great comps and the nuance to a comp. Everyone has the same CoStar information. Everyone has the same Reonomy information. But by you enabling your special sauce, what you put on top of it, to know why did that deal trade the way it did? Were there specific impacts to it that made it a higher value or a lower value, and to make it, when you're communicating with your client, a better comp for them. Bob Knackel, who was on our mastermind last year, talked about in New York how a property two properties next to each other had totally different numbers, and it was what wasn't on the record in the comp was the air rights, the cost of buying out the tenants, and all of these other costs that collectively built up to make it equivalent, so that he was able to demonstrate higher value because he showed, okay, here's what it really costs to make that deal. So that comp that you thought was $1,000 a square foot really was $2,500 a square foot, and the data that he was able to build in his system was able to help him win business and substantiate the value to us, both the listing side and the sale side.
So create the foundation, match buyers and sellers, tenants, and space. Let's maximize that workflow. And while you do, analyze the deal properly. If you send me a property, make sure you don't send me a 40% upside cap rate property. Analyze that property, create some presentations that win in marketing, and let's generate new business from old business. And I think that's going to help us all out. If anybody wants a copy of my slide deck, you can just put in here you want a copy. Just say, hey, I want a copy in the questionnaire or in the chat. And if you want, you can always email me, msmith@realnext.com. Take a look at my slide deck. It'll walk you through some of the things that we talked about here today. We also will have this recorded and up on our YouTube channel. You can take a look at other past YouTube, these webinars that will be on there from the past, and we'd love to get this out to you. Yep, so if you want a copy, let us know. Good, yeah, look at that. People want copies of the slide deck, yeah. And I am not good at PowerPoint, so I took Jeff's PowerPoint, and I took Mike Laird's PowerPoint. He heads up our PixVR. If you want to demo that anytime, let us know, but he did part of this, and I just changed some of that out. So hopefully you guys enjoyed it. So yes, I'm happy to send everybody a copy of the slide deck here so you can enjoy it. Maybe we'll just send out an email, Jeff, with this recording, and then we'll attach the slide deck so people can download it.
Perfect. Well, appreciate everyone joining us today. Matt, thank you for running us through. I know it was a lot of ground to cover. We will be breaking it down into components, taking a deeper dive into each one of the sections and enabling you to take advantage of the tools. So thanks, everyone. Thanks, Matt.
Thanks, everybody.
Look forward to seeing you guys in future sessions.
Happy Thursday.